So how do I add a title? Hi everybody, happy Saturday to you. So I have a really fun little gift bag for you today, and I may have to go to my website to actually get my instructions on the measurements, but I think you're gonna really love it. It's pink, of course, because I've really been in a pink mood. So if you are joining me live, then I would love to hear from you. Let me know that you're watching and we can chat as I craft with you. So I'm going to be using this All Things Fabulous, which is a triple stamp photopolymer stamp set. I'm going to be using, let's see, these colors, one of the new Magenta Madness and Flirty Flamingo and Petal Pink, because that is the I'm not going to use the Magenta Madness. I'm going to use Cherry Cobbler. Sorry about that. I have another card made with the same stamp set that I want to show you that I did in Magenta Madness. So I'm having a lot of fun with this All Things Fabulous stamp set. Okay, so here is what I'm going to show you. Here's the bag. Do you like it? Yay! So, I'm going to teach you how to do the triple stamping and give you some tips on how to do that, and then how to cut and put the bag together. All right, so let's get started with the paper. And let me just click over here and get these directions up because it was a while ago that I did this. Oh, by the way, I have a tutorial up on my blog right now for all of the dimensions and on this bag and the instructions on how to cut. Okay, so for a moment now, I'm not going to be able to see your comments, but please let me know. And if you are having trouble hearing me, would you please let me know, because I'm using a new microphone these days, and sometimes it does not always work the way I plan it to work. So let me switch back over here and see if I can hear me. So if you're watching me now, would you let me know that you can hear me? Maybe give me a thumbs up or yes. Oh, Gloria, yay. I'm so glad you're watching me. Can you let me know that you can hear me? Because I sometimes worry that my microphone doesn't work. Okay, so I'm going to switch back over here to my directions for just a sec. You know what I should do is I should bring up my directions on my iPad. That would be better. But we'll go this way. All right, so start with Petal Pink cardstock. It's 11, and we're going to cut it to an 11 by 6 inch sheet of paper. So it's already 11, so I just need to cut the 8.5 inch piece to 6 inches. And the Stampin' Up! Trimmer goes all the way to 6, so I don't have to bring out my arm. I am going to use this little piece later for the top. And then I'm going to be scoring at 1 inch all the way down the side, and then again at 3 and at 6 and at 8. Okay, and then I will turn this around, and on the short edge I'm going to score at 2 inches. So this will be the base of the bag. 2 inches. Okay. So let me move this out of the way. I probably need to score later for the top, but let me get that out of the way. And I think at this point I can do it without, okay, good. Thanks for giving me the thumbs up. Now I know that you can hear me. So I'm going to be cutting out this little rectangle. This is 1 by 2, and the directions say to cut off your 1 by 2 rectangle, and that's the only 1 by 2 rectangle that's on the project. So you'll snip that off. And then we're going to snip up all of these. Remember, this is your this is your bag base. So we're going to snip up those score lines. But we're also going to turn all of these into trapezoids, meaning that the bases are parallel and the bases and the tops the bases are not the same length. So see, trapezoid. We're going to turn all of them into little trapezoids, or you're going to cut off, in other words, you're going to cut off little tiny triangles. And that will just make sure that the bag folds up nicely and you don't have extra bulk and you don't have extra little edges of paper sticking out funny anywhere. They don't have to be very big, but you do want to do them on all the flaps. It's not necessary for you to cut off any other flaps than just that first one. All right, so we are ready to get some stamping on here. Now on my sample, I didn't do any stamping, but I do want to do some stamping on this one. And because this is a photopolymer, I am going to use my foam pads, and I need another one. So let me grab another one. And my microphone cord is pretty long, but I didn't have it untied. There we go. There, that'll fit. And I'm going to start by just doing a little background stamping with the largest and the medium size. Stamp. And if you're joining me live, I'd love to hear who's with me and who's watching, where you're watching from. I'm going to use the petal pink because I want this to be a nice subtle background. And I'm going to start with the largest flower. And I'm going to do like a little grouping of flowers on this bag. So the first one, I'll just start right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and come in with the medium sized and add it right here next to it. And then this small one right here. So a little grouping of the flowers right there. So let's come back with the large one. And I'll be able to work a little grouping in there, and I'm going to do a little grouping right there. And then I can do another one here and another one right up here. So now coming in with my medium sized, I'm going to add that in here. And after I get these initial groupings done, I'll decide if I need to add any more random stamping. And then adding in the little one in kind of the same position in all of these groupings. There we go. Okay, so it looks like I have room for some more. So I'm going to come back in with the, let's see, I think I'll use the medium size one. And I'll just add a medium size one there. And then maybe over here, over there, up here, and then down there. And then I'm going to come back in with the smaller rose or flower. And how about there? This is my front. So this will show up on the back. These are going to be on the side panels right here. So just as you are stamping, you'll know that the large panel that's all the way in the center is going to be your front. All right, so now what I'm going to do is grab my petal pink marker, and I'm going to do a little bit of spritzing with my marker. So I'm going to use the brush tip, and with the lid like this, I'm just going to splatter some of the ink, and you kind of really have to snap this, and it just adds some nice texture. There. To your bag. We're going to be doing that on the card that we make as well. So at this point, I'm ready to go ahead and fold it up into the bag. And we have a new adhesive. It is our Stampin' Seal Plus, and that's what I'm going to use today. I did use it on my sample bag, and it has shown no signs whatsoever of coming apart. So I'm excited to introduce it and share it with you. It is in the new catalog, which you can take a look at on my blog if you don't have one. If you want me to send you one, that option is also available on my blog, and I'm probably on some posts here on Facebook. So I just put the adhesive on that 1-inch flap, and now I'm just going to fold over the back, and there we go. Then I am only going to use one. I'm only going to glue one of these bottoms. I'm just going to do the top one. So adding adhesive there. Folding it up. See how cutting those triangles off means you're not going to have any excess hanging out. So I'm just going to put my hand in there and press that down for a moment, make sure that sticks. Okay. There isn't really a need to glue down the rest of them. Okay, so then I gave instructions to, if you want it to have that shape of, you know, a folded bag, then you can pinch your sides together and give it that little bit of shape. You could also score that side, but pinching does really just about the same thing. Okay, so now we're ready to decorate this. I need a scrap piece of Whisper White. I think I have some right up here. We're going to be stamping these flowers using all 3 layers. So the first one I'm going to start, let's see, do I use this on my card? Yes, I do, but I use the middle size one. So I'm going to start with the large one, and let me just show you how I'm going to, actually these are already on here, so I can show you for the middle-sized one. So I'm just going to take this off of here for a sec and show you that I just kind of line this up here so I get like the direction of how it lines up with the image on the cover. And it's smaller on the cover, but then I'm going to make sure that the bottom of the image is where my C is on my block. So I'm using block C. And then I'll just pick it up off of there. I have ink, shoot. I have ink on there so it doesn't want to stick. Oh, I'm doing it upside because I'm doing it the wrong way. Duh, that's why it's not sticking. There we go. Okay, do I have my C? Nope, there's my C. So you do need to put your stamp upside down there. Okay. And then this one, let's see, this is for the large one. Yeah, so I need to pull the medium-sized ones out. Nope, that was for the medium. These are for the large. Okay. So these pieces go with the large. So I turn my stamp upside down, lay it on top of the, let me do this one over again to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. So this one is going to go on there. And then I have my C, so I'm going to have that towards me. And I don't have to stamp with it the same way every time, but I do need to have my letters pointing the same direction. That's going to make this easier for me to line up. So this one is a B. So again, I have this face down on the image, and then with this facing me, I'll just pick up the stamp. Okay. And then again with the middle piece. I can use block A for this. And there we go. All right, so the stamping that I'm going to do, we'll start with the petal pink, and then we'll do the flirty flamingo, and then finally the cherry cobbler on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up my oh, I didn't get my pieces for my little flower, did I? I need 2 of these. One for my card, one for my box. And I need 1 big one. I don't want to get these too close together because I am going to use my dies to cut them out. This is a bundle. It has a die set, and that really gorgeous filigree punch out is in that die set. So that's going to be super fun to work with. And then my little one, which I'm not sure about this one. Did I check this one on the cover? Let me clean that off and line this up. Make sure that we're ready to do this. Okay, so face down in the same position with my letter facing me, B, there we go. Let's go ahead and get those little pieces that go on top of our smaller open flower. There it is. That has a little curve. And grabbing another A block. And then this last one. Another A block facing me. There we go. All right. Ready to do the middles after I stamp my little flower. Okay, so this goes on this one. So I'm going to do my middles with Flirty Flamingo. I don't know if my head's in this shot or not. There we go. And again down here. So when I'm lining up mostly this curved area. That's what I'm looking at when I'm stamping. Now this will lighten up quite a bit, that Flirty Flamingo. It looks kind of orangey right now, but it will lighten up quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do the insides of my large flower. And on this one, I'll be looking at these curved pieces that wrap around the petals there, there, and there. As well as the center. Okay. And then the inside of my little one. Actually, I think that's the big one. See why the letters help? So when I pick these up, I kind of have a clue as to how to start lining those up. And then the other color will be Cherry Cobbler. And that will be all of the centers. So I'll start with this little one because it's close to my thumb. And so I can look at this little piece hanging down and this that's going to wrap around the edge of the flower right there. Ta-da! And this one is for those medium-sized. Doesn't that look gorgeous, that cherry cobbler on top of there? Whew, love this one. Okay, and then my last one, I need to find that goes on the big one. I think it's this one. Yep. And if you ever lose track of which one of these stamps, go back to your box, because I was having trouble figuring out that this one was the right one. I was confused between maybe these other two. So these are right next to each other that go together. So I looked back at my packaging and I was reminded that yes, that's going to go on the large. And there we go. See how that's lightening up to more of a pink color? And I think that is it for those little pieces. So I'm going to close these up for now, get the big shot going, get these cut out along with the filigree that we need to put this card together. So if you are planning on placing an order with the June Houses code, please do so this by today. Today's the last day to get those free butterfly gems that you will get for ordering. And you have until June 3rd to order, actually I want it this way, June 3rd to order the starter kit if you're interested in ordering the starter kit, which will give you $125 worth of product for $99 plus a free bundle. And this could be one of your bundles if you want to take advantage of that deal right now. All right, so I'm going to be using these leaves, and I think there's a third leaf that I want to grab out of the package. Yep. That. And then I want to cut out my flowers. Stampin' Up! Has been designing new die cuts for their images in the last couple years, and they are so nice. They are so easy to line up. And here's my large one. And my smallest one. All right. Crank that through. And I need to crank this through another time because I'm going to need that middle sized flower again. But I'm done with those for the moment. Oh, Jackson is making an entrance. Hello, Jackson.
No.
We're doing a live. If you're joining us live, I'd love to hear where you're joining me from, who's watching, so I can talk to you. And let's go ahead and get that one cut out. And then I'll grab a piece of cherry cobbler for us to do that gorgeous filigree for the top of the bag. We'll also be putting one on our card as well. Okay, so I'm done with that, and now I need this guy and some cherry cobbler paper, which I don't think I got ready. So excuse me for a moment while I run over to my cabinet and get cherry cobbler. So I just grabbed some scrap pieces of cherry cobbler. And I'm going to run this through a couple of times. I am going to need 3 of these for my bag and 1 for my card. And I want to make sure that's cutting through, and it's not. So I'm going to put this, I have this a certain position on my acrylic. It's either my acrylic plates or my block or my base, I don't know, where it just doesn't want to cut through. Oh, and I have something else I can put on top to squeeze it a little more tightly of this little plastic sheet. So I'm going to use that too. And back. Let's see how that one did. Oh yeah, it looks like that's been cut. And we need a little pokey tool, don't we? Here's my take your pick tool. There we go. Okay, we'll get all of those little pieces out in a moment, but I do want to get the little pieces out before I do it again. When I'm crafting on my own and not on a camera, I usually do this right on top of the trash can. But as you can see, there's only a limited amount of space that I can have in my camera at a time. Okay, let's see if we got it all. Looks good. This piece is finished, so let me dump that in the trash. And I need another piece of cherry cobbler. So it seemed to work pretty good over here on this side, so I'll do that again right over here at this side. Let me just do 3 of those. Looks pretty good. Okay. Sorry, this is rather tedious. I probably should have cut these before I came on camera. I need to cut 2 more of these. So if you need a momentary break, go grab a drink of water. It'll take me about another couple of minutes to get these last 2 done. This is where I should start singing for entertainment instead of crafting for entertainment, right? There we go. That one went pretty quick. I hope that's in a good spot. And back and forward and one more time. Ugh, that was a bad spot. In the middle seems to be the bad spot. So I'm looking forward to getting our new embosser and die cutter machine from Stampin' Up! As a demonstrator. I get to order that early. That's a huge perk for being a demonstrator, is getting to order product before it comes out. So if you are thinking of doing the starter kit in June to get that extra bundle, that's something to look forward to. So I have 3 and I need 1 more. Poke those out of there. Get the trash. There we go. And 1 more sheet of scrap paper in cherry cobbler, and I will be ready to work on finishing this bag. Let's see how that looks. Good. Alrighty. All right, I can get that later. I'm gonna need the Big Shot one more time for that little tag on the bag, but for right now, I'm gonna get that out of the way. And I need this guy. Now, I have a take your pick tool with this on the end, but it's out of my reach right now, so I'm just going to use this. This is the old style. You do get these little spongy guys to roll on, but you'll need to use an end, which is why I have 2 of these take your pick tools. So one end holds this, and then I have another one that I can use that like gummy end to help me pick things up. Okay, there's 1. And 2. And you know, I'm just realized that when I made this bag, which was several days ago, I think I put the top on it before I glued it up together. But that won't matter. We can still get it on. So I'm going to need another piece of petal pink paper. There we go. There's all 4. I'm going to need another piece of petal pink paper to help me do my top. And it needs to be scored the same way we scored the base, but I don't need it to be any bigger than 1/2 inch to 5/8 of an inch. So the ribbon that I'm using is 5/8 of an inch. So if you wanted it to be the exact same size as your ribbon, you could go ahead and do that. I think I'll go ahead and cut that at 5/8 of an inch. Oops, that was weird. I must have started in the middle of that cut. There we go. Save that. Oops, sorry, I banged the camera. So I'm going to score this at 1, at 3, at 6, and at 8. Okay, that'll give me the whole distance around the top of the bag with this little piece to help me glue together. And get that out of the way. I'm going to be taking these. Now I did cut these apart and I wanted to check and see how wide that was if I just did it like that. So these on my original bag were cut apart to show a little bit more of the filigree, which I think I'll go ahead and do. But I think this would look fine if you just left these whole and skipped that step. So I'm going to go ahead with the way I did it originally, which when I'm originally designing, it's just kind of like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. And then if it works out, then great, I'll keep it. So my original intention for cutting these apart may have been different than what it ended up for the final project, but we'll stick with it. All right, I'm going to grab my silicone pad and let's start where I'm going to start right here on the front. I know that this is the front because it's a large piece and it's not on the end. It's right in the middle of everything. So that's where I want to start putting my filigree down. So I'm using the silicone pad because the glue, and I want to kind of center this on there, the glue will not stick. So if you do this on paper, there we go. Pretty even? That looks pretty even. And so just a little bit of that is going to be glued down, and then this one I will do it from the back, kind of eyeball lining that up. Okay. And then continuing down, I'm just going to bend those little glue tabs back. Now, when you line this up, so this part is kind of interesting. Notice that when these points go together, they don't come all the way down. So I want the same look over here on this side. So I'm going to add this. This little guy gets lined up with that little guy right there. Like that. Okay. And then same thing over here. So a little bit of overlap to make that line up nicely. All right, so this piece is going to have to be cut partially. I don't need to have it on this because that's just going to glue together. So I'm going to snip off right there. And let's see if this will be enough over here. Not quite. And snip that off. Now I don't know if we will have enough for the other end. And if that is the case, then I'm gonna have to do more cutting. I think that's enough. Barely. I'm making it fit. All right, this is ready to go on my bag top. So I want to bend these pieces and get them ready to go on. And I think I'll add a little bit more glue. I'm afraid these pieces are gonna pop up when I try to put glue on them. So I'm not gonna do very much. There we go. So let's go in here with that. Isn't that pretty? Straighten that up. And then wrapping around on this side and the back. Okay, so I have a little bit not showing, but I suspect that once I get my tissue paper in there, that's not going to show. If that bothers you, then definitely cut another one and make that long enough. All right, so let me grab the petal pink ribbon. Ooh, I am almost out of this. Am I gonna have enough? Oh no, I can't believe I'm out of this ribbon. I love this ribbon. That's probably why I'm out of it, because I love it. Ooh, I do have enough. Perfect. All right, I want to add a little glue to the back to kind of hold this in place. There we go. And if you want that on the sides, then definitely add some of that on this, a little bit of glue on the sides. So as you can see, I mean, we could have done without cutting that apart and lining that up like I did. We could have done the pieces as a whole and it would have been much less tedious. But this way I'm getting a wider border. So you choose. Okay, let me grab my ribbon scissors, make those egg ends diagonal like that. So pretty. So that little extra stamping that we did on the bag and that spritzing to add a little texture, I think really adds something. Here's the plain one. So we can compare once we get the flowers on. So let's find my buried flowers and get those glued into position with the leaves. And I think I'll do this with Tombow, although I'm remembering that I was almost out of this yesterday, so let's see what we can do. So I'll put my large one up there. And then my small one here. And again, you could do this part before you glue down. Actually, I'm going to turn that all the way around like this. There we go. Let's give that a little press. And then this one will go up on dimensionals. And then we'll tuck the leaves in. So I have this one over here. And this one down here in the corner. Get that under the little one a little more. Now these leaves, there are stamps for them as well. So if you'd rather stamp these and then cut them out instead of just having them be in a plain pear pizzazz, you could do that. And then our 2 leaves. Oh, isn't that sweet? So let's look at this one. So then I also stamped the For You. That was from a different stamp set. It will be on my blog, which stamp set I stamped the For You, and then used the stitch labels, stitch nested label die set that are those hexagon shapes. I love them so much. I stamped that in Cherry Cobbler. And so which one do you like best? Can you see the difference in the background? Definitely see it on the sides. Yeah, and then put your little gift in there, some tissue, and it's a really sweet gift. I'm certain that any of your friends or family would love to get a simple gift in this gorgeous packaging. So not just for cards, are they? All right, so let me set those aside and let's do the card that will accompany this. So we're going to go with a petal pink base. And we're going to do that same random stamping that we did on the bag. So I'm going to cut this at 5.5 along the long side. And then turn it and score it at 4.25. And then I'll just fold that card up like that. I will put a white insert, and I will go ahead and do that now while I'm stamping. So I'm going to need this foam piece out, and let me grab my, oops, that card stuck to my box. So I just keep one of these wood boxes and I will cut up a whole bunch of paper all at once. I have 4.5 by 5, 4.25 by 5.5, and then I have 4 by 5.25, and then these are half of these. So I think that's 4.25 by 2 3/4. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stamp the front of my card and also the inside. The front of the card is just going to be random stamping with the petal pink, but the inside I'll do full flowers. So I'm going to start with some random stamping of the large flower. Turning it around different directions, and then I'll come in with the medium, which is over here. And then I'll come in with the smaller one and fill in. And you could do the leaves on here too. You don't have to be stuck with just stamping the flowers. And you don't have to stick to just one color, but I wanted that kind of monochromatic look. So let me come in with then this flower again in the corner here. And because that's on white, I'll go ahead and do the middle and the center with my Flirty Flamingo and Cherry Cobbler again. And I've forgotten which pieces go on that. So, oh yeah, it's the one with the nice big upturn. There we go. Like that. And then the Cherry Cobbler. One more time. It's easier to line these up when your image is a little darker. That petal pink is kind of hard to see through my stained. All right, so that's ready to go in there. I'm going to go ahead and glue it in. Do you love that stamp? I'm loving that stamp. This is really sticky. There we go. All right, so the front of this is just going to be very simple. Oh, I do want to do my marker though. A little bit of texture on here. There we go. I love what that adds. This will go on here. And I think I'll use mono adhesive for this. And on the ends and the very tips. Lining that up. Oh, I got something in my ring. That's gross. Somebody should have told me. There we go. This is going to go here right next to my greeting. And my greeting is going to come from the All Things Fabulous stamp set. I'm going to stamp Wishing You All Things Fabulous on a piece of 1/2 inch Whisper White paper. And to get this lined up, I'm just going to line my words up on the line of my desk. And then I'll come in with my stamp. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Oh, so sorry. And then lining the top and the bottom parallel to that line that's on my desk as best I can. I keep a bunch of these 1/2 inch strips that I end up having when I cut my papers for the insides of my card. So if you cut up a whole sheet of Whisper White, just like this, then you're going to end up with a whole bunch of 1/2 inch strips. So I don't keep all of them because I can't really use every single one of them, but I do like to keep, I have a cup and I'll just stick them in there. And this one is long enough so that if this comes out crooked, I can stamp it again. So I know that this is going to go over towards the left. So my first attempt will be over here on the left. And that looks pretty straight to me. Calling it good. That was in Cherry Cobbler. So ready for the front. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead and adhere that, and then I'll trim it after I have glued it down. So I'm going right for the middle of that little filigree place, or filigree design. Got a little adhesive showing right there, so I'm going to get rid of that. They're like in little tiny rectangles, so you can just kind of pull it apart. It's really pretty cool. All right, so this is where I will turn my card over to the back and snip that off right along the edge. And voila, I didn't have to get out my paper trimmer to measure that. That looks pretty, just like that. And then I'm going to step it up one more and add this flower over here on the edge with some dimensionals. It's about time for me to use my edges on that batch, isn't it? And some rhinestones. Don't you think it needs rhinestones? I think it needs rhinestones. So what colors are in my holiday rhinestones? Those are Noble Peacock. Oh, the champagne rhinestones look really good on the, yeah, I think I'll just use the champagne rhinestones because they look fabulous on that petal pink. So let's use this end to pick those up. And boom. Boom. And a little one. Right there. Oh, so pretty. Do you love it? And if you wanted, you could add some more of those champagne rhinestones to your bag, if you want to dress up your bag a little bit more. But I hope that you have enjoyed this project. Let me bring the bag up again. I have quite a mess going. If you have any questions about this project, there is a link to my blog that will probably answer most of them, but reach out to me if you have any questions. You can post right here on this video post or on my blog. You can reach out via email, rosiescrapper@gmail.com, and I am happy to answer any of your questions about how to order or anything like that, about the company Stampin' Up, about what I do, any of those things. But I really hope that you enjoyed the project today. And if you did, I would love to see a comment and a thumbs up. Thank you so much. If you are watching this replay on YouTube, I would love to have your subscribe and a thumbs up as well. And thank you for joining me. Happy Saturday.